Man, oh man, Bills, here we are with another episode of Phly Talk, and man, let's just be honest, man. The Eagles shit the bed, man. The Eagles shit the bed. What a bad performance.
It was definitely a bad game.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is, like I said, another episode of Phly Talk, reviewing the Cowboys versus the Philadelphia Eagles, Week 10 of 2018, and man, like I said, man, that shit, a shitty performance by the Philadelphia Eagles, man. A shitty outgoing. The defense, the offense, they took turns both being bad. Man, it's Mr. As They Want here. Tune in with yours truly, Young Bills, a.k.a. Billy Trice. What's going on, man?
What's up, man? How are you doing?
Man, I'm much like the city of Philadelphia today. I'm doing not so good, man. Not so good.
Yeah, that's understandable. There's a lot of things that went wrong, but I feel like everybody's missing the point of where it all started.
Hey, man, let's get right into it, man. This game started off, like I said, it started off a defensive battle, per se, right? You had two defenses going at each other, making plays to stop each other. But then all of a sudden, our defense seems like it stops for some reason, or it's not able to handle the Cowboys' offense, which is nothing special. How do you feel about that?
Well, I feel like, how we lost this game is solely on the offensive side of the ball, and I know that might sound crazy, and you might be questioning it, but if you really think about it, in the beginning of the game, like we said, our defense was holding up, our defense was getting stopped. Our offense couldn't keep the ball at all. We had only like 9 minutes in the first quarter, and in the first half we only had the ball for 9 minutes, and Dallas had the ball for the rest. We offensively in the first half didn't hold the ball enough, didn't give our defense a break. So our defense was making stop after stop after stop after stop and holding them and holding them and holding them. Your defense can only, mind you, your defense is shorthanded. Your defense can carry you this game. Offensively, they could not have relied on the defense to carry them this game, because they're depleted. You had guys hurt, you had guys in new spots, and you just couldn't count on them. They played well for what they had, to be completely honest. They played really well for what they had. But, their offense put them in a lot of bad positions. And, I don't know. Carson's got to find – a lot of it is on Carson. He has to find a way to be successful late in games. Right. I don't know what it is. It seems like when the game's on the line and he needs to make a play, he does it. And that scares me, because if we think that he's the player who we think that he is, he has to make plays like that.
Hey man, look. We both said preview pod that we wanted to see this offense come out with a fast start, right? We said that. We both said from the bye, we need to see this team get on a roll like it did last year, right? Where they were stomping people out and taking the souls out of their opponent. You know what I mean? And they did none of that. You had two weeks to prepare for a mediocre Dallas Cowboys offense, and you did nothing. You had time to prepare for You had time to prepare for above average, mind you, Dallas defense, but nowhere near elite, right? Nowhere near something like the Legion of Boom or like the best NFL defense there is today. No. You had 2 weeks to prepare, and we wanted to see this offense rock and rolling. We wanted to see the running game rock and rolling, and they did nothing in the first half of that game. Nothing. You cannot expect to win in this league and put up 3 points in the first half of a quarter or of a game. You just can't do that. And speaking of Carson had himself a bad half. Let's keep it 1,000 right there. Carson Wentz had a bad first half of that game. He threw that interception. I don't know if was that the first drive or the second drive.
I think it was the second.
Yeah, the second drive of the game. Your defense. I don't know if they got the stop. I'm not sure. But
I think they forced him to a field goal.
Yeah. So it's a field goal game right there. You went 3 it out your first series. The second series, you throw an interception. You can't do that. That's something that's not acceptable. You cannot do that. And, people are afraid to criticize Carson because Carson is Carson and Carson is great, right? But like you said, when it's time to criticize him, I'm going to put criticism on Carson Wentz, and he gets criticized for that interception in the second drive of that game.
Yeah. Look, I don't know. Carson, it's just confusing to me. I feel like this guy has all the tools to make the plays that we're all talking about, and we all think that he can make, and he's just not making them. Like, he had an open Alshon Jeffrey on, one of the plays on the last drive.
Right.
He misses him, and that's something that you think that he would see, and he just doesn't. And it confuses me.
Alshon stopped his route because he saw that the Cowboys were playing zone coverage, so he saw that he was sitting down in the zone, and Carson thought he was leading him into the pass, but Alshon stopped his route, and that goes on Carson. You missed a wide open touchdown right there. Alshon was wide open. That falls on Carson, and that's unacceptable. And Carson knows that. Carson will be the first person to tell you that. That's unacceptable, and he has to do better. And we just need to. It's not good, man. This team is not good. What I took away from this game is this team is not good, and they're every bit of 4 and 5.
Well, I don't know because I don't even know because Golden Tate I thought was going to have more of a presence in this game.
Golden Tate, where was he, man? Where was he?
Well, first off, Doug didn't have him out there a lot. He was out there at first in the first quarter, but when things weren't clicking, they yanked him.
Golden Tate was out there for 18 plays, which was 29% of the snaps, and he was targeted 4 times and only had 2 catches.
Exactly. My point exactly. He wasn't in there for a lot of the game, and so
why would you trade a third-round pick for someone who you're not going to use?
I felt like Doug panicked, though. He felt that the offense wasn't clicking, so, he pulled the guy out who he thought didn't know the most, which is understandable because he doesn't know everything, and, he's still getting used to everything. Hopefully by next week, we'll see a little bit more of him. He'll be a little bit more comfortable another weekend, but it's no guarantee when he'll fully pick this offense up. But I feel like when he does, this
bro,
team can go on a run.
Look. Golden Tate is a veteran receiver. He has ran every route tree there is. It's just the verbiage. You can get him onto the field.
A big part.
Yes, it is a big part. But you had a bye week to get this man prepared. He killed the Cowboys in a previous matchup. He is a matchup nightmare for those corners. And you had a bye week and a week to prepare, and you still didn't do anything with him. That is unacceptable on Doug. That's unacceptable on Carson for not looking his way. And speaking of, let's go back to Carson real quick, right?
But Detroit has a running game.
And yes. Which is one of the reasons why.
Come on, so what are we really saying?
Which is one of the reasons why I wanted to go out there and get a running back before the trade deadline. That's one of the reasons.
There just weren't any available.
And I feel that. But, who would you rather have right now, Carlos Hyde or Wendell Smallwood? Because I would the Jaguars gave up like a 5th round pick for him. Like I would do that in a heartbeat. I would have did that in a heartbeat. It's just unacceptable, and we can't keep making excuses. That falls on Howie Roseman, and this is one of the reasons why this team isn't doing good is because of Howie Roseman. It just is, and some of his bad decision making.
Are you serious?
Yes, bad decision making. For personnel, not getting some either veterans in here. Like, I never want to see Corey Graham in an Eagles uniform again. That is a fact. What is he doing, man? It seems like every time that guy's on the field, he's letting off. He's giving up a big play. Like, what is he doing? You could have had somebody, a better veteran in there, or even a younger guy. Somebody better than Corey Graham could have been in there playing safety. But who'd you resign? You resigned Corey Graham. That's just unacceptable.
Okay, though.
No, bro, you cannot sit here and say Corey Graham is okay. He gave up 4th and 15? 3rd and 15? Like, that's unacceptable. He gets beat. He can't. What is Corey? What you tell me right now? What is Corey? Hold on. What is Corey Graham good at? What is he good at? Please tell me. That silence right there. That silence right there is that answer. Exactly. So
I can't tell you what he's good at.
So that's exactly my point. Last year, right? Last year, to Howie's credit, yes, he was good for us, right? He made plays. But just because he made plays last year doesn't mean he's gonna make plays this year. And hold on.
That's like saying, how did any of these guys get contracts? It all goes by what you've done. So if you just recently done something that was good and that was successful, then that's how you get rewarded, by getting another contract. So they always look at your last season. So,
and I understand that, right? But there comes a point where you see his play this year, right?
Yeah.
And you still put that man on the field. That's unacceptable.
They don't have a choice.
It's called firing, sir. It's called having that guy not on your team anymore. It's called releasing him. It's called finding.
Who are we going to put in this? We don't have anybody better to put in his place. He is the best option currently.
Well, was he the best option when Eric Reed was out there, or was he the best option when Kenny Vaccaro was on the free agent market? Was he the best option then?
But he was already signed, and he already knows the system.
I mean, these are excuses I'm hearing, man. These are excuses.
Not excuses. That's the fact of the matter. That's the reason why he's there.
That might be a fact, but that sounds like an excuse to me, man.
He knows the system, and he played well last year for this team. So that's why they re-signed him. Now, before this season, would you have said not to sign him? No, because you didn't know that he was going to play the way he was going to play.
No, I wouldn't have.
Now that hindsight has come, now you see that he's not who you thought he was, and now you're upset. That's not how it works. You're only as good as your last game. And
his last game, and his past games have been horrible, and he's been giving up these long. Like, he is one. It's a lot of reasons why they lost in Tennessee, but if you make that stop in Tennessee on 4th and 15, you win that game. That is a L specifically placed on Corey Graham. Even though that defense was bad and they didn't do much and the offense was hot garbage,
right?
Yes, that falls on Corey Graham. He is bad, and that's just one of the reasons. Like, what are we doing? Who's playing a slot corner? Like, these injuries that keep piling up, like. We have to really take a look at this team. Like, not only the team, not only the players, but the whole organization. Like, what is the medical staff doing? Like, it seems like every week somebody's either hurt or they are incapable of playing in the game. And the best example of that is, well, you have plenty. Just choose. It is a who's who of names on the injury reserve list right now. And that's totally unacceptable and, quite frankly, a major, major disappointment.
Wait, how is that unacceptable, though? How do you stop an injury?
Well, the training staff. Well, you can't tell me Darren Sproles the blame has to be pointed somewhere with that, right? Like this man, he has a tweaked hamstring and has been out for 3 months. That now I know every player is different, every person is different, right? But you have a training staff for a reason. They're supposed to be getting these guys healthy. And
but do you know how difficult a tweaked hamstring is?
It does not. No, bro. It doesn't take 3 months to get back from.
It's a lingering issue. It's like a tweaked hamstring. I'm not saying I'm a doctor. I just know a little bit, but it's like little rips in your actual hamstring. So it's not fully torn or anything, but it's painful and it takes a long time for you to heal. Because you always use it. It's a muscle that's always being used. So it's always, it's never like resting because you have to walk, you have to go places, you have to do things. So that's why hamstrings are so hard to heal. And once you have one hamstring injury, it's so easy, to get another because of that fact. So
right.
Everybody, like I said, everybody's different. So
right, absolutely. But it's just a lot with this team, man. It's just a lot going on. Like that first half, you cannot have played worse, I feel like. And the bad thing is you were still in the game. Like this is another game in which the Eagles cost themselves a victory, right? Like this isn't about the Dallas Cowboys being good. This is another game in which the Philadelphia Eagles screwed up. Am I right?
Yeah.
Exactly. So, like, what do you think this team has to do in order to fix this, or is this just this team? Because that's the realization that I'm coming to. It's just this team this year. They're not going anywhere, and that's just how I feel. And they haven't shown me anything otherwise to prove me wrong.
So one thing I do want to say. I was very, very, very pleased with the play calling of Doug Peterson.
Oh, were you? Were you happy with the 4th and 2? That's what you're happy for?
The 4th and 2 was the only play I had a problem with. But out of the whole game, normally I have way more issues with his play calling, and I think he definitely did a better job of play calling this game. He committed to the run. He passed the ball when he needed to. He called a good game last night, and that I will say he did a good job of. But do I feel this team, are they better? What can they do to turn it around? It's solely on this offense. This offense has to find a spark. It has to find something. Look, this team needs to start trusting Wendell Smallwood. I'm sorry, but that's the only
please, bro, stop it.
Let me finish. We have to trust the players that we have. That is the only way you can win. This is a team sport. Nobody can do it on their own. So in order for us to win, we need to trust Wendell Smallwood. He's been successful a few times this year. So let's not just write him off. We have to put our trust in him. We have to let him just try and be a 3-down back. That's our only option. Because if we don't, we're going to keep losing games like this. We cannot be, turned into a one-dimensional team, and teams just shut us down like that.
You want to know?
Like the Cowboys did.
Look, man. Wendell Smallwood this season has rushed for 62 rushes, right? 261 yards, 4.2 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown. That's not good enough, man. He's not good. He has his moments where he's certainly been better than before, right? I can give him that. He's definitely been better than before. But he's not good. He's not getting it done. This trio of running backs isn't getting it done. And this is where, again, I blame Howie Roseman. You said last pod on the preview pod that Darren Sproles was good, was a good re-signing, and you think they should have re-signed him. No, That is incorrect. LeGarrette Blount makes this team significantly better. You want to know why? Because people respect LeGarrette Blount. You can you can pack the 8-man box all you want, but people know he's going to get his yards. Now, Wendell Smallwood, they don't respect him. So you know what they're going to do? And Corey Clement, they don't respect him. Josh Adams, they don't respect him. So they're going to pack that box and they don't get yards. It's not their game. It's just what it is, man. And it's not good enough. It's just not good enough.
Okay. So you wanna know what you would have got and paid $3 to $4 million for? You would have got him. You would have got LeGarrette Blount, right?
Yes.
So far this season.
Yes.
What does he have? He has.
But you can't. We can't compare his.
9 games. Hold on. In 9 games, he has 71 rushing yards.
We can't compare.
Sorry, he has 71 rushes. Sorry, he has 71 rushes for 182 yards.
Yes.
And 3 touchdowns.
Yes.
You said Wendell's numbers were what?
Wendell Smallwood rushed for 62. Has 62 attempts on with 261 yards, 4.2 yards per carry, and 1 touchdown.
Exactly. LeGarrette Blount's only 2.6.
But we can't measure that offense over there with this. And who's their head coach over there?
Why can't we?
Pat Patricia or whatever. Matt Patricia. Come on, man. Let's get real, man. That's not a good offense. It's not. Now they got some good players over there. I ain't gonna hold you, but now we can't compare. Like we seen what LeGarrette Blount did this for this team last year. Like I'm not worried about that. That's over there. We know what he did over here and what he meant for this team. And you put him like I feel like if we had LeGarrette Blount, we have at least 2 more wins under our belt.
Wow. Do you really?
Yes. But
and
I dare somebody out there to disagree.
If you were to do that, we wouldn't have been able to get certain free agents. That's what I'm saying. Like
who? Like who? Who did we pick up that's crucial right now in free agency that LeGarrette Blount couldn't be here? Like let's stop playing. Like LeGarrette Blount was huge for this team. Like I can't put enough emphasis on it.
But Aaron, I understand that he was a good player and he was successful, but he was in a specific role. He had other guys around him. LeGarrette Blount can't be a workhorse right now. That's what I feel like you're not understanding. If LeGarrette Blount had to play all 3 downs, it wouldn't.
Well, you don't use. Well, they didn't use him like that last year. So where are we getting that from? He had him in the same rotation. In the same rotation, and he was successful in that. And that's what you do here. I don't need him to be that back. I don't need him to be a Le'Veon Bell. I don't need that. I need him to be in the role that he was last year. The role like he was with the Chargers. The role, what game was that? With the Bears. He had some big games for the Eagles. And he put away victories for the Eagles, like in the fourth quarter when the Eagles were having such success and were already up 20 points. You could give him the ball and he put the game away. People didn't want to hit him in the fourth quarter. That's facts. I don't need where's this idea that I need LeGarrette Blount to be Le'Veon Bell? Where's that coming from? I don't need that. I need him to be in the role that he was in before, and I don't need, and not to mention Darren Sproles. Just take a step back real quick, right? Let's go back real quick. I on a tweet from Zach Rosenblatt or something like that, Zach Blatt on Twitter. Just take a listen, and I want to hear your response. He listed all these injuries week by week, and just listen to the names, some of these names that were on here. Right, week 1, no Carson Wentz, no Alshon Jeffrey, no Timmy Jernigan. Week 2, no Carson Wentz, no Alshon Jeffrey, no Darren Sproles, no Timmy Jernigan. Week 3, no Alshon Jeffrey, no Darren Sproles, no Jay Ajayi, no Timmy Jernigan. Week 4, no Darren Sproles, no Corey Clement, no Rodney McLeod, no Timmy Jernigan. Week 5, no Derek Barnett, no Darren Sproles, Corey Clement, McLeod, Haloti Ngata, Timmy Jernigan. Week 6, no Darren Sproles, Jay Ajayi, Rodney McLeod, Haloti Ngata, Corey Graham, Sidney Jones, Timmy Jernigan. Week 7, no Darren Sproles, no Jay Ajayi, no Rodney McLeod, no Haloti Ngata, no Corey Graham, no Sidney Jones, no Timmy Jernigan. Week 8, no Darren Sproles, no Derek Barnett, no Jay Ajayi, no Rodney McLeod, no Corey Graham, no Sidney Jones, no Timmy Jernigan. And then week 10, no Darren Sproles, no Derek Barnett, no Jay Ajayi, no Rodney McLeod, no Sidney Jones, no Lane Johnson, no Jalen Mills, no Timmy Jernigan. That's bro. That's unheard of. That is unheard of.
And you want to know something? Greg Jennings put it very well on Colin Cowherd earlier this afternoon, I should say. This Eagles, he was referring to the Eagles and talking about how, this season they never really started 100%. Like, at least some teams in this league, most teams in this league started at 100%, and they found, you start getting into a groove, and you start winning that way when you have all your pieces together, at least for the beginning of the year, and then when you have some cohesion and a system of doing things, people just start falling in the line, and that's why injuries down the line are a little bit easier to handle at times. But this Eagles team didn't do that. They missed Carson Wentz and Alshon Jeffries for the first game of the season, and then you missed Alshon came back. Oh no, Alshon again. You listen to them all. I'm not going to list them all again, but you start listing up guys week after week. This team has never been 100% healthy, and we've asked them to get everybody's best in the NFL every single week, and be successful and win games. Hurt. So, we do have to cut this team a little slack.
And it's definitely part of what it was. Definitely the reason. Or maybe
not.
It's definitely
understanding why they're playing.
Yeah, it's definitely a reason for understanding why the team isn't performing well. But at the same time, you still got firepower on that offense, and the offense. It's just no excuse for putting up 3 points and a half. Like, I think they said. The Jets? The Jets are scoring more first half points in games than the Philadelphia Eagles. Like, who do the Jets have? Like, who's playing? Isn't Sam Darnold hurt? Like, this is unbelievable, man. You can't be out there, have Alshon Jeffrey, have Zach Ertz, have Golden Tate, have Nelson Aguilar, have Dallas Goedert, right? You can't have all these weapons, Jordan Matthews. You can't have all these weapons that only produce 3 points. These teams like the Rams, the Saints, these teams have legitimate weapons that can score at any second. And and the Eagles had that last year, right? Like there could be a play that's 65 yards down the field that Carson just shoots down the field for first play, and it's a touchdown or it's a big game. Like we're not producing on offense, and then to complement that or to outdo it, perhaps. The defense, it seems like when the offense is playing well, the defense is not. When the defense is playing well, the offense is not. It's like they can never be in cohesion. You know what I mean? Like, where is the cohesion with this team? Where is the grit of this team? Like, I feel like it's lost.
I just feel like they're going through things, but I definitely think they're going to be better for it. They're going to realize that this isn't going to be a cakewalk like last time, and people aren't going to roll over. You got to give your 100% at all times, and you have to be, focus at all times. They just feel like they can just, turn it on and off at times. I feel like, and they need to realize that they're not that good. They don't have that ability to just turn it on and off every night, every week, and think that they can win games. So,
right. What was your biggest takeaway from the game, man?
Maybe I was wrong about Rasul Douglas, and that pains me to say because I've been a big Rasul Douglas fan. I actually saw somebody's tweet on Twitter talking about they were saying how bad Rasul was, and I was like, all right, like this is Rasul's chance to really show you guys that he's a good player, because every time that I've seen Rasul come into the game, he's played well. He's played pretty good, and even when he played last year, he played good at times.
Right.
So I had faith in him, and then this game, he had a rough one, and it was very rough to say the least.
To say the least, man. Like, you can't give up that 3rd and 9 to Amari Cooper on the slant. You can't do that. That's unacceptable.
The corners, Darby on that hit that he tried to come on, wrap up. You're not that guy. Like you get him off the field, you hit him 3 yards behind the line of game. Like, you had him there. You make that stop. That's a momentum swing for the Eagles. Like, it's so many lost plays that were out there for the taking, and it just seems like this defense is not taking them. And speaking of Ron Darby, now he's out for the season as well with a torn ACL. Like, so now we're gonna have to have faith in Rasul.
Like we're really talking about out here.
You know what? I do think Rasul Douglas will bounce back. I think he did just have a bad night. And guys have bad nights sometimes. I think he can bounce back.
I see him as a guy who has big play ability, who can step up, but I feel at the same time we might have saw who really Rasul Douglas is. Like, it's a reason why they didn't put him on that field. Like, they weren't putting him on that field before. It's a reason. And just from last night, and like you said, people have off games. Like, these players have off games. That's certainly showed in Carson Wentz in the first half. But it comes that's your moment to step up. Like, when the moment's on you and it's your time, you have to step up. Like, we can't just sit here and say, it's time for him to show it, and when he doesn't show it, or we make these claims like, let's get Sue in the game, and when he's in the game, he doesn't perform well. Like, we can't sit here and make an excuse. Like, he didn't perform well, and that's on him. That is on him. And some of the defenses that were ran last night, some of the defensive plays that were ran last night were strangely odd, man. Were odd. I can remember. It was one of those plays. I forget what it was, but I know it was a wide open zone, and they ran for 25 yards. It might have been on that. No, well, I definitely know on that 3rd and 15 they were playing the sticks, and they let that the little swing pass or the little screen pass go for 25 yards. That's unacceptable right there.
Yeah, but all right, so. Here's the thing. Yes, there's definitely some bad, play calls by Jim Schwartz. I was just questioning when he would blitz 3rd and long, but be in zone. Like, that's an easy hot read for a quarterback, and it's very simple to beat, and he keeps doing that, and I just don't understand why he does. He's having his wide receivers play 10 to 15 yards off.
Cornerbacks.
His cornerback, playing 10 to 15 yards back. How does he expect them to stop a slant route and it from crossing their face while playing zone? But you're
exactly you're at already a disadvantage. Playing off the ball. Like how many times do we have to be beat on a slant route that goes for big game. Like, how many times do we before press? It's called press coverage. And if you don't have the players, we understand that you're limited in your resources, and that forces your hand a little bit, having to play base defense, right? Mm-hmm. But at the same time, you have to press, man. You have to. You can't allow these talented, quick receivers to just do slant routes and gain 10 yards. That's unacceptable.
Yeah, they gotta. I don't know. Jim has to figure something out. It's just frustrating to see it. But then he'll make adjustments. It's weird because sometimes he'll just make adjustments and then he'll bring them up and it works, and then he won't go back to it. I'm just like, what are we doing here? Like, you tried something new, you figured out what fixed it, but then you don't keep it. Right. He's gotta have faith in these guys with them being physical on the line. Look, I don't, at this point, I really don't care if they get beat because they're getting beat either way. Right. At least let them get beat trying to fight, trying to stop him from crossing his face, and instead of just letting him. Right. So I don't know, man.
Oh man, well, man, oh man, I know it's hard to find an MVP in this game, but if you had to choose one, who would be your MVP, man, of this week in this game?
My MVP would have to be that guy, Zach Ertz. Man, did he eat? Oh, man. Touchdowns, over 100 yards receiving.
Yeah, man, he's really been the best tight end in the league this year, and that's the same. That's the exact same answer I have as well for who the MVP is.
And it's crazy because I was so high on Zach Ertz coming out of the draft. Actually, a lot of people didn't even know how good he was. I remember watching him play at Stanford. I remember watching him play against USC on it was a Saturday night game. It was a late one. It was a really good game though, and Stanford ended up winning. But I digress. He became a really good player, like I thought he would, and it's just nice to see that sometimes. A player who you follow and who you believe can be good, and he ends up being really good.
And for all the crap that we gave him earlier in his career, right? Like we always say, like Zach Ertz always turned it on at the end of the season. You know what I mean? With sleeves, or whether it was with sleeves or Nick there, or even or Vic. He has really, really turned himself into an incredible playmaker. Even on that, 4th and 6 at the end of the game there, where they came up short for that first down. What a heck of a catch by him, man. That was a great catch. Now, you want to see him secure it right away, because if you secure that ball right away, that's a first down. But he bobbled it there, and was short of the line of game, but it's still a remarkable catch by any standards, for sure. And
because that was kind of like his, was it him or Nelly? I thought that was him that caught it right near the first down marker in the.
What quarter?
Oh man, I can't remember. Never mind. It's all right.
Well, yeah. Well, like I said, he turned himself into an incredible target, and has become the NFL's best tight end, other than Travis Kelce and Gronk. But Gronk hasn't been healthy and hasn't really been producing this season. But other than those two, he's really turned himself into an incredible tight end.
Oh yeah, definitely. Especially that help from someone teaching him how to block. That was one thing he didn't really know how to do. He was a receiving tight end.
And what a good wham block that was on one of those plays. Yeah, that was a good wham block for sure.
And
came right off the ball.
Wasn't doing that. Zach was not doing that.
Yeah.
So you have to credit Selleck to really helping this kid and maturing him and growing him into the player that he is today. Because if it wasn't for him, I don't know if we get to see the Zach that we see today.
Now for the loser of the week, man. And it's only one that comes to mind, and he's going to be remembered for a very, very long time. And not for a good reason. My loser of the week right now is Trey Sullivan. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Trey Sullivan. You might remember him from this play.
Prescott's with 7 different receivers. Elliott. Big hole. Hurdle. Inside the 20. Loses his balance, but he gets inside the 10 for a first and goal. Went right over Trace Sullivan like he was Ronaldo Nehemiah.
Well, he was. He was a state champion hurdler. When he was coming up, I was going, is he going to try this? But the defense knows it too. He doesn't go low. He's standing up and still got him jumped over the head of him. I bet you he's dying that he ended up. Look at this. I mean, can you imagine being Trey Sullivan and knowing contact is coming and absolutely nothing but the bottom of his tailbone hit his helmet?
Is Rod Smith on the sideline?
Yeah, eat him up.
I mean, what an incredible play by Zeke. But, man, he's going to be remembered for a very, very long time for that.
Yeah, definitely. Great hurdle form by Zeke, I must say.
And it's a great play, but Zeke should have scored on that. Zeke should have scored,
yeah.
Which makes it...
Zeke looks a little out of weight to me. Like, he looks, a little chunky.
Yeah. He definitely... he was definitely the best player on that field yesterday, as far for the Cowboys, that is.
Yeah, but there's a lot of runs where I thought he was going to score that he didn't.
Yeah,
that surprised me.
Yeah,
but no, he did play. He did play well.
And you want to know who didn't play well? I never want to hear a Cowboys fan ever bring up the topic of Dak Prescott being better than Carson Wentz ever again. How many times?
A lot of things went his way. A lot of things went his way last night.
Well, it went his way, but it didn't. Dak Prescott is trash. Is garbage.
It's okay. Let them re-sign him.
Oh, no. They're definitely going to re-sign him. I'm not even worried about that. Jerry Jones got that taken care of.
I don't have a problem. Everybody's like, why are they going to re-sign him? Re-sign him. That's only helping us.
Nah, that's for sure. But I just never. It was so many plays in that game where Dak Prescott had open receivers and just couldn't make the throw. Like,
wouldn't that be? Think about this though. Wouldn't that be crazy? What if the Eagles? I totally don't believe this, but this is just an idea that would be wild if it was true. So what if they purposely lost that game last night because they don't want Dallas to get the first overall pick or close to a...
Well, it wouldn't matter anyway because they don't have a first round draft pick. So it doesn't matter. That's why he's...
That would have been a wild theory.
Oh yeah, it would have been a wild theory, and it would have been stupid. It would have been a stupid.
That's not worth it.
Yeah.
That's not going to be worth it.
Like, the Cowboys aren't good, and for this, and which makes this loss hurt even more.
2 years.
Like, this Cowboys team isn't good, and that's the frustration of the city right now. You have a team coming off a Super Bowl that we know is better than they're playing, and you have a Dallas Cowboys team who was on life support yesterday. It came out and looked like the more hungry team, the better team. Or not even the better team, just a more hungry team. Like, this Eagles team didn't look hungry. It didn't look like it wanted to win. And that's the most frustrating part about it. Like, we know the talent is there and it's not producing, which is totally unacceptable. And it falls on Doug. It falls on Carson. It falls on this whole team, this whole organization. It falls on.
I don't know. I didn't get that, but I didn't get that the guys weren't trying or wanted it enough. I felt like they really did. They were trying, but it was just
they're just not good enough. They're just not good enough.
I think it's just mental errors. I think it's them just not being in the right spots, not staying to their tendencies, not playing together as a unit. It's just not there.
Right.
And winning a Super Bowl is a very different offseason than when you don't win a Super Bowl. And you can clearly see that, there's a lot of guys on different pages. Not a lot of guys are on the same page. Last year, you saw that everybody was on the same page. This year, it's sporadic and people don't look cohesive at all.
Absolutely.
You see it out there on the field.
Absolutely, man. And it's extremely disappointing to see this team not function the way we know they can. For your loser of the week, man, who's your loser of the week?
My loser of the week's got to be Rasul.
Yeah, man. For all the hype, man.
Yeah, that disappointed me. Even though I like him so much, but he made a lot of bad plays. And to be honest, it could be the whole secondary.
Yeah.
Even Malcolm, made some poor plays at times. Was out of position, and that was frustrating to see. So the secondary just had a bad game last night.
Yeah. Well, this team has given the city a lot to talk about over the next couple of days as we look forward to next week and what might be the end of the Philadelphia Eagles season. What you thinking about? Of course, the Saints got that W yesterday against the Bengals. They're looking good. They look like they're firing on all cylinders. What you thinking about that and this upcoming matchup?
I like the Saints. Man, they're really good. And we got to play down there. That's definitely going to be a tough game.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, man. Any final thoughts from this game, man? I mean, I don't get it. The Eagles seemed like they were coming off a bye. Everything was pointing towards them
being successful,
doing better, right? Like you had all these things working in your favor, right? You coming off a bye, the Cowboys coming off a devastating loss, a short week, right? It's Sunday Night Football. You're wearing your black uniforms. The city is pumped. It's Dallas week. It's your arch rival. And you put on a shitty performance like that, man, it's extremely disappointing. And quite frankly, I just don't see this team doing anything this year. You're 1-1 in the division. Washington got that W against the Bucks yesterday. The Bucks seemed like they didn't even want to come and play. Like so many opportunities to take a hold of that game. And what I got away from that game is the Redskins aren't even that good. They're not good. But the Buccaneers gave that game away. So you got that team, the Redskins, sitting at 6-3 right now, I believe. We're 4-5 along with the Cowboys. Cowboys a game ahead of us, and now the Redskins 2 games ahead of us. So it's a extremely disappointing loss, heartbreaking loss.
But see, we're not out of it still because we still have to play.
Yeah, but we could say that. But from what I saw in a must-win game at home, you're losing 3 home games in a row. I just don't see this team doing anything this year. It's too many injuries, too many poor performances. Of course, they could still win their division. I'm not saying that. I'm just not counting on them to. And quite frankly, I'm not counting on them to make the playoffs. Like if they make the playoffs, it's a shock to me now. Now, if you asked me that in the beginning of the year, that's a whole different story. But
I feel like they might go down in the dome and shock them.
I mean, that's not out of the question, but like who's in our secondary? Like
you're right.
Yeah, I mean, like we don't like. They're saying Sidney Jones might be able to play. He's further along than Jalen Mills. So let's just say Jalen Mills is out for this game. You got Rasul Douglas, Sidney Jones, and Avonte Maddox against potent. I would consider this to be the best offense that we faced, and it might be even the best offense in the NFL. I just don't see it happening, and thus putting us at 4-6, and I just don't see it happening this year, man. I just don't. I just don't see it happening. What's your final thoughts coming away from final takeaways coming from this game?
This team is still resilient. You still got a lot of veterans on this team. You still got a talented quarterback on the other side, so you can never really count this team out. You never know when they could catch fire and play like they did in New York. But I'm not going to count this team out yet. They're a fighting team. They've been counted out before and, didn't like it and, changed a lot of things. So there's still a lot of time left. I'm not going to give up on this team yet, but they have a lot of work to do if they, want to be successful and make any type, be lucky to get into the playoffs this year. So
absolutely, man. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you can express your displeasures with this team in the comment section below. Make sure you rate, comment, subscribe, all that great stuff. Bellows, we'll see what this team does moving forward as we look forward to the preview pod coming up against the New Orleans Saints. Make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Where can they find you on social media, man?
You can follow me on Twitter at BillTrice31.
And you can follow me, A Snyder A1, all social media. Make sure you do that. Like I said, rate, comment, subscribe to the podcast. And tell your friends, man. Tell your friends about the podcast. We're new in this podcast game. So make sure you spread the word on us. And, it was a hard loss for the Philadelphia Eagles. But we'll see what they do moving forward. It's been another edition of Phly Talk with yours truly, Mr. Az1 and Billy Trice. We'd like to thank you for listening and tune in next time. We out.
See you guys.
Phly Talk.